the 10 principles of effective assessment. But before that, welcome to Assessment and Evaluation with Teacher Lei. Don't forget to click the like, share, and subscribe button.
We only talked about that topic for like 5 seconds last week. Why did he include that in the exam?
Well, you know Professor X, he's always trying to trick us. He keeps on including even the smallest details in our test, though the information is irrelevant.
That's unfair. I spent so much time studying and preparing for that test.
Well, better luck next time.
Is the scenario familiar to you? Is it possible that inappropriate test questions cause students to fail in class? Well, this happens when you violate the principles of effective assessment. What are the principles of effective assessment? Assessment is tightly interconnected with curriculum and instruction. It plays a vital role in the achievement of the curriculum outcomes. Thus, all classroom assessment activities must comply with the following principles to ensure quality teaching and learning. The first principle is clarity of learning targets and appropriateness of assessment methods. Learning targets are statements of intended learning based on certain standards. It must be identified, clearly stated, and focused on what is truly important. When the learning target is clear, the teacher can easily choose or design the appropriate assessment method. The assessment method must be aligned with the content and performance standards. Therefore, if a teacher wants to measure the student's skills in solving mathematical equations, should he give an essay or an objective type of test? Yes, that's correct. The second principle is balanced assessment for diverse types of learners. A balanced assessment sets targets in the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. It also uses both traditional and alternative assessment so that the strengths of the other method may supplement the deficiencies in one method. Also, considering that learners have multiple intelligences and different learning styles, they must be given various ways to demonstrate their abilities and achievements. Thus, teachers must be creative in selecting, designing, and providing various assessment strategies and opportunities for them to demonstrate their knowledge, skills, products, and values as defined in the curriculum. The third principle is valid and reliable assessment. Validity is defined as the degree to which the assessment instrument measures what it intends to measure. There are 4 classical ways to establish validity: face validity, content validity, criterion-related validity, and construct validity. Validity ensures that the assessment instrument is accurate, appropriate, and useful for a given purpose. On the other hand, reliability refers to the consistency of scores obtained by the same person when retested using the same instrument or its parallel or equivalents. It can be established by different methods such as the test-retest, equivalent forms, and split half. Conducting these methods will establish the reliability of the assessment tool. Even if you repeat the same assessment activity with the same learners on another occasion or administer its equivalent forms, you will still get the same result. Both validity and reliability are considered as the most essential characteristics of a good assessment instrument. The fourth principle is fair assessment. Teachers must provide fair assessments to all students. The assessment activities should consider the learners' gender, race, cultural background, socioeconomic status, abilities, and disabilities. To be fair means that students are informed of the learning targets, given equal opportunities to learn, free from teacher stereotypes and free from biased assessment tasks and procedures. The fifth principle is manageable assessment. Teachers should manage the assessment procedures with practicality and efficiency in terms of the available resources. Directions and procedures must be clear, efficient, appropriate, and well implemented. It is important to consider the complexity of administration, ease of scoring, and ease of interpretation. Also, the teacher must be familiar with the method and its accompanying cost. By knowing its strengths and weaknesses, they can save time and maximize student learning. The sixth principle is transparent assessment. Assessment targets are derived from the curriculum standards. These targets must be clear and known to the learners before they carry out the assessment activities. It is also important to communicate the learners' assessment results through direct, regular, and ongoing feedback on their progress. Teaching and learning process becomes more effective when teachers and learners use explicit feedback to reflect throughout the learning and assessment process. When both important users are informed of how they performed, where they need to improve, and how to improve, both can improve their roles as assessors and assessees of learning. For teachers to modify and improve their teaching practice and for learners to improve and maximize learning. The seventh principle is continuous assessment. Assessment activities must be done before, during, and after the instruction. It could be after each lesson, quarterly, semester, or academic year. Here are some activities that occur before instruction. Determine and communicate the outcomes expected from the learners. Plan and design assessment activities for individual and group of learners. And identify the learners' diverse characteristics like motivations, interests, skills, abilities, cultural backgrounds, and other personal information. It is also important to know what the learners are bringing into the learning situation and use it as starting point of instruction. Find out other relevant information about learners. If possible, use this assessment information to place them in specific learning groups to efficiently and effectively facilitate the teaching and learning process. During instruction, the teachers should monitor and track the learner's progress towards instructional goals. Determine the strengths and weaknesses and how it can be improved through feedback. Identify the learner's recurring or persistent difficulties. Use the assessment information obtained from different assessment methods to adjust instruction. And provide direct and regular feedback to motivate learners. Finally, after the instructional segment, the teachers may determine the extent of learners' attainment of short and long-term goals. Communicate the assessment results to the stakeholders, specifically to learners, parents, or guardians. Record and report assessment results for school-level analysis, evaluation, and decision-making for future instructional planning. And utilize the assessment results to evaluate the effectiveness of instruction, curriculum, and materials used. The eighth principle is authentic assessment. What makes an assessment authentic? According to Burke, 1999, assessment is authentic if it demonstrates the following features: meaningful performance tasks, clear standards and public criteria, quality products and performance, positive interaction between the assessee and assessor, emphasis on metacognition and self-evaluation, and learning that transfers. Teachers should provide contextualized tasks that will enable learners to demonstrate their competency in a more authentic setting. The goal here is to ensure that learners can apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Meaning, teachers should be creative in designing meaningful performance tasks. It is important that learners can recognize how they can apply their acquired knowledge and connect concepts to farm relationships. We need to transform our classrooms so that learning transfer is the heart of what we do. By providing authentic assessments, we can increase students' ability to remember information, apply skills, and transfer their learning to solve problems in a real-world setting. The ninth principle is positive assessment. Regardless of assessment results, assessment should have positive consequences for both teachers and students. Even if the results are unfavorable for teachers, the assessment information can inform them how they can improve their performance. For students, even if the results are discouraging, through the teacher's guidance, the assessment information can help them realize how they can improve their roles as recipients of learning. In the end, the imperfections of the assessment process should be positive rather than negative. The 10th principle is ethical assessment. Teachers should ensure that the learners are free from negative consequences of not applying all the assessment principles. Teachers' wrong practices, including embarrassing students or violating their rights to confidentiality, will have a long-term impact not only in their academics but also in their personal life. Thus, teachers must be guided by laws and policies that affect their classroom assessment. So, here are the 10 principles of effective assessment. What other topics on assessment would you like to learn? Type in the comment box below and see you in our next video. Thank you for watching.